And I want to take a moment and thank a supporter of this episode, Alpha Comics, Calgary's best comic book shop with all things comics, figures, art, and local meetups from the city's most talented. Stay up to date on the most recent comics, dive into some of the trades from back in the day, or stock your shelves with the latest statues and figurines. Be sure to check out Alpha Comics, located at Unit 9, and that's 7005 18th Street Southeast. You can find them on all social medias at alphacomics.ca. We here at the Nerd Room would like to thank Alpha Comics for supporting this episode.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nerd Room, where we talk all things comics and movies. This is episode number 25. We're discussing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows and catching up on some news. I'm one of your hosts, Tim.
I'm Troy.
We're going to start off this week on a bit of a sad note. The world lost one of its greatest heroes, one of its sporting legends, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay.
Yeah.
The man that went 12 rounds with Superman.
Oh, yeah. Hands of Kryptonite.
Yes. No, it's sad to lose someone like that, someone so inspirational, inspired a whole generation, protested the Vietnam War, and, he took sporting to another level, boxing to another level.
Definitely. Athletes as a whole, from him to Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, that mentality. So
yeah, he opened a big door.
Yes.
Big door, and it's sad to see someone losing. We're losing a lot of really important people this year, it feels like.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's hard to go from that to something more positive.
Something more positive there, right? Yeah, definitely. But it's definitely a must say, and R.I.P. to one of the best out there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into some Star Wars news right off the top here.
Cool.
Let's get into something maybe a little less positive than we're used to with Star Wars news, right? Yeah, we're looking at some reshoots for Rogue One, and usually this doesn't bring out much concern with the fan base because it's something that's built in. We've talked about this before. Every movie does this. Civil War did it. Fantastic Four did it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Some do it better than others. Yeah.
But there's early reports and rumors going around that really had shaken the foundation of the Star Wars fandom, was that up to 40% of the movie was being reshot. Wow. Which, again, is a bit of an outlandish rumor. There was some insiders at Lucasfilm that tried to attempt to debunk this.
Right.
And it's looking like these are picking up shots to maybe either add in a character, maybe a Han Solo.
Yeah, which would that make a lot of sense.
It would, but I don't know if I'm completely on board with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it.
No, me neither. And this Alden guy, I think he needs to have a little space, a little time to get into the character. If they try to rush him into this and say, here, just be Han Solo, it's difficult. He got announced a month ago. He's probably got a lot of work to do before they start filming in January. And
How big could his role be?
And it's like, it's going to be a shoehorned in cameo. Is it going to be like just the Millennium Falcon flying by and him and Chewie being like, whoa, I guess I'm glad we're not going over there or something. Right. Like, it's not going to be anything because he has really no impact, or he's not part of the rebellion prior to A New Hope. And apparently this movie's going to finish really, really close, like basically on top of
That's what I heard, even closer than what we thought.
Yeah, like within minutes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think there's some clarification from Lucasfilm or from this insider or whatever. That I was looking on the Entertainment Weekly website, and they're kind of going through in a bit of detail. The initial fear was that they were picking up these scenes to lighten the tone a bit. Right. This is a war movie. This is a little different than what we saw with The Force Awakens, which was what they've called this kind of 4 quadrants movie. That's right. We're picking up men, women, both above and below age 25. Okay. Where this, being a more war movie, might alienate a bit of the female crowd or the children in that. So that was one of the fears, that they're trying to tweak the tone. And Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla, is a bit of a unique director. He wants to put his own spin on things. And then again, there's some worry that Disney was going in and tweaking this and trying to take maybe some of the uniqueness of the film out of it. Some of those concerns have been alleviated. Yeah. And I think Disney, they hired this man knowing who he was, right? Exactly. And same thing that Marvel does. And sometimes when you get into these formulaic movies, and I'm not saying that Star Wars or Marvel are that, but to a degree they have some sort of consistency amongst the filmmaking to make sure that you're in the same universe, this cohesive universe, exactly. Right? Yeah. Where a guy like maybe Edgar Wright didn't fit into the new MCU, and that's why he left. And we've seen directors and that leave the DC Cinematic Universe and Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even, the Fantastic Four director,
Josh Trank there. Yeah.
He was replaced because he's Josh Trank.
Yeah.
So I don't personally think that we have much to worry about here. There's a lot of good people behind this movie.
Yeah.
They've proven themselves with The Force Awakens. You have Kathleen Kennedy sitting at the top of this, who has been directing, and not so much directing, but who has been driving this new Star Wars era.
Yes.
And she seems to be putting it in the right direction. So I'm optimistic here that they're just picking up scenes, maybe adding in key characters, more moments with people that have tested well.
Yep.
I'm not overly concerned about this. Do you think there's anything more about it?
Not really. I mean, my hopes are it's more Vader shots, more Vader screen time.
Yeah.
I'm always good with. But I did hear, I think it was Entertainment Weekly discussing it's more kind of like cockpit. Yeah, shots. Never going to say that word again. But anyways, I don't think it's anything to be worried about. And Disney hasn't really failed us since they've done this property with Marvel movies and the Star Wars stuff, right? So I think we're in pretty good hands. And like you said, Kathleen Kennedy is great over there. So
yeah,
I think we're okay.
Yeah, and it's really, I just finished reading this book called How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. And
I spoke about it.
Yeah, I finished it.
Nice.
It's a great book, and I'd recommend going and grabbing it. You spoke before about the audiobook. It's a great read, or listen, or whatever you want to call it. But they talked a bit about, towards the end, the Disney purchase and how Disney was being really good, particularly with Pixar and Marvel at the time of the Lucasfilm purchase, at giving those companies autonomy to do and continue to do what they did without this kind of Disney hand sticking in. Nice. And I know this has now become probably one of their biggest franchises, as to be expected, especially with the success of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because there was some doubt in there when it was originally purchased, according to the writer of the book, whether or not they were going to get the returns on the $4 billion they paid for this. And that was $2 billion in cash in a dump truck into Skywalker Ranch for George Lucas, and $2 billion in Disney shares. So he's the single largest Disney shareholder now. George Lucas.
Huge.
And I think after the success of The Force Awakens, he had to made like an extra $800 million on his with the Disney stock, with their worth of them as it increased with the purchase of Star Wars and the success of The Force Awakens.
Right. Incredible.
So, rounding that back, I think Disney is letting Lucasfilm handle this with little meddling, and I think that they've seen the success that Marvel's having, that Pixar's had, with the little input that Disney has had. And so I'm going to trust in them for now. We'll see. That the trailer left nothing to be worried about. That looked fantastic.
I love it. Yeah.
And I'm really excited for this movie. And as we're getting closer and closer, we're starting to hear rumors a bit about the Force Friday stuff. So we're looking at the end of September, maybe.
Nice.
And some of the figure lines are starting to drop. So getting some images. And so we're going to start seeing this towards the end of the summer. I think we'll probably go through a little lull until we get to July. Yeah. When apparently that's when they're going to start rolling out some more footage. So probably you'll get your first look at some figures. And then we've got San Diego Comic-Con. And either one of those is probably going to have some sort of exclusive. I'm assuming like a Death Trooper or something as far as a 6-inch figure. Right. All these reshoots are being done within the next 4 weeks or so, leading into Star Wars Celebration.
Star Wars Celebration, yeah. Perfect.
And so I think
hopefully we'll get a title drop too for The Force Awakens.
That's the hope. We talked a bit about that a couple of weeks ago, the Fall of the Resistance. So we'll see if they confirm that up or if they're scrambling to change that. But I'm assuming they have to register some sort of domain name. So I'm sure if someone's out there looking hard enough.
Yeah, I think so, right? So I think at this point we already had a title for Episode 7. We already had the Force Awakens.
Yeah, I don't remember when they dropped that. If it was that Celebration or if it was that something different.
I think it's just before Celebration. Okay. I think so.
We'll see. Yeah. But again, super stoked about this. And I don't think we have anything to worry about. Guys, don't worry about anything. Until the movie drops, I don't think we're ever going to really know what these reshoots entail. And at the end of the day, like, I couldn't pick out any reshoots in Civil War. And we're going to talk a bit about Batman v Superman and the effects of potential reshoots or scene adds, scene cuts. And, it's all about how they're mixed into the film and what they're trying to focus in on.
Exactly. That's the step.
So, swinging over to a little controversy. And I don't really want us to wade into some hot topic debate here. But there's a little controversy surrounding the X-Men Apocalypse billboard that showed up in cities like Toronto, LA, New York. And it was a picture of Apocalypse strangling Jennifer Lawrence's character, Mystique. And there was an actress who was particularly upset about this, as this promoting domestic violence or violence against women. Yeah. And we're not going to sit here and debate that one side or the other. We're very, very much not condoning any sort of violence against women. We both have wives and little girls, and we would never want any harm to come to any sort of women. But personally, this is maybe a poor choice on Fox's part. Yeah. I think that there's got to be some level of clearance that these got to go through. Right. And for someone to really not look at that and be like, what is this image actually promoting?
Exactly.
And I get what they're trying to do. I don't think there's any real malicious intent here on the part of the marketing department of Fox. And I don't think they're trying to subtly or subliminally tell us that, men have dominance over women with this image. It's simply the antagonist strangling the protagonist, right?
Exactly.
And she is one of the headliners of the film, so having her on a billboard is a must. But again, at the end of the day, was it a poor decision? Probably, to have a very large man strangling a woman. Yeah. Would it have been different if it was Cyclops or someone else being strangled? Right. Probably.
Yeah.
But it's all about, out of context, what this is actually sending. And because in the movie, it's just a scene, right?
Yeah.
And he does that to everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so he's not strangling her because she's a woman.
Right.
He's strangling her because she's attacking her and he's an evil dude.
Exactly.
Right? It has nothing to do with domestic violence or violence against women in particular. But again, we're not going any further into this. I just wanted to touch on it quickly because it was something, we talked quite heavily about X-Men in the last few weeks, and it was a bit of a controversy surrounding that coming out of the back end of a movie that wasn't so hotly received by fandom, by critics themselves. And this just adds kind of a little bit onto the pile. It's kind of an ugly way to end your second or third week in theaters, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, wrong choice of imagery. Completely.
And, when I look back, I said to my wife, I said, I was talking to her about the outline for this episode, and I was like, should we talk about this? And she was kind of like, I don't really know what you're talking about. So I was like, let me show you the image and let me see what you get out of this. So I showed her the image, and it was just from the Google thumbnail, and I said, did you know about this before? And she said, no, this is the first thing I see, and that's the first thing I see.
Right.
And so coming from a woman's perspective, that's interesting, because when I look at it, I just see Apocalypse fighting Mystique. I don't see it as a man and a woman and some sort of domestic violence or anything like that. So getting her perspective on that really brought that around for me, that this isn't an appropriate image.
Definitely.
There's some people that were complaining a bit about the fact that this is perceived as something scary or whatever for children. So I don't know. There's probably better images that you could use.
Yeah, they should be shaking their heads over there at the studio.
2 hours worth of material, and there's got to be checks and balances here.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think there's also another image floating around, they said too, of Cyclops using his optic rays, and Jean is like controlling his mind. And so people are looking into that as like women controlling the man. It's just craziness. Either way, at the end of the day, it's a horrible image to put up.
Yeah,
and like you said, there's over God knows how many images they could have chose.
Exactly, and film. There's a tiny bit of overreaction with some of that, and digging and looking for something in particular, maybe looking for something to complain about.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it's still not wise. And Fox went back, they apologized, and they ripped down they're taking down the billboards and all that. So they acknowledged their misstep there. Yeah. And they're rectifying the situation, and they've apologized to women and to people, and that they shouldn't have done this. So everyone's happy. It does show a bit of the power of the internet, right?
Yeah.
You get on the internet with something that doesn't particularly favor a sex or a culture or race or religion, whatever. Things can change very quickly and with very powerful people. Yeah. You try to do this 15, 20 years ago, it's left up for another 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. It's not coming down.
Yeah. So. Let's jump into a little comic books.
Nice. Yeah, I like comic books.
Yeah, I do too. We have two big events going on right now. Civil War 2 and DC's Rebirth.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying Civil War 2.
Oh, my goodness.
As well as I dipped, as promised.
Oh, you're hearing it here first.
Into Rebirth.
Nice.
I read the first issue of Batman. So Sanjay, I have to thank you for this, because he's been unable to go to the comic book shop. He asked me to pick up the Batman issue for him and the Green Arrow as well.
Cool.
So I had them at my house, and I thought, why not? I did promise, and I followed through, and I actually kind of enjoyed the Batman book.
Good stuff. You liking it?
I have no idea what's going on. But I do like the character of Batman.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites from the movies, and he's someone, like I always said, if I'm going to get into DC, it's going to be through Batman.
Nice.
And it was a good start. I wouldn't say it was particularly the best jumping on point.
Right.
I do have some background in Batman, and from listening to you guys talk a bit about it, I'm understanding the character a bit more. And now I'm guessing it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's return to the cowl,
as opposed to Jim Gordon, who was in the New 52,
That's
correct?
right, yeah. Jim Gordon, I think, left the mantle about issue 45, 46.
Okay, so that's
Bruce
something. Okay, cool. So we're going to say spoilers here, because we're going to talk a bit about Civil War 2, not in DC Rebirth, not in any great depth, but just kind of on the periphery, because as we promised, we're going to do a full DC Rebirth review when Sanjay comes back. And once we get some more of the number ones, because I think Aquaman, Flash, and that are coming out in the next few weeks. Green Lantern's Corp, which I'm a bit interested about.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Flash now after reading Rebirth just the whole event series.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Speed Force going on in there, so I can't wait. Yeah.
Cool. How are you feeling about this from reading the first couple of issues? Because you read Superman, the Rebirth kind of big issue.
Yeah, because there's basically been this little series going on about, I think, the fall or the death of Superman. So the guy who's done the countdown like they normally do when they're killing off a character. So I've been reading Superman since about issue 30, since John Romita Jr. hopped in.
Okay.
And it, continues all the way out to after Rebirth, and then Rebirth #1 of Superman. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the art direction for the first time in a while with the Superman series since John Romita Jr., your favorite artist. So I love that. I really like the big event they just did, mixing in the Flashpoint and something big at the end of that series. So yeah, nothing but great things all around. And then Civil War 2, just phenomenal.
So we're technically 3 issues into it. So it's the 0 issue,
right.
the first issue, and then the free comic book day issue.
Yeah.
So I read them last night.
Yeah.
Both the 0 issue and the #1 issue. And I had read the free comic book day issue on the first day.
Yeah.
And it didn't click in my mind at how well these is almost like one continuous comic book, these 3 issues, which is a real plus. Because a lot of people going into this were thinking this is going to be, a shoehorned event. We're looking at just because the movie's coming out, we're trying to leapfrog onto that and, carry our way through, use the movie as a crutch to sell more comics, to get people coming in, get name recognition in there with Civil War the movie, Civil War the comic book. Yeah. But they've taken a really cool direction here.
Really have. Yeah, because I wasn't really interested that much into it until actually diving in. Now I'm like, okay, they got me in this story with the Inhumans. I'm really invested now. Well,
that's the thing, because Inhumans are something I've really struggled to become invested in.
Yeah.
And after this now, I'm seeing how they're trying to really integrate these. And Charles Soule, who we interviewed at the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo, is one of the ones responsible for doing the Inhumans storyline as part of this Civil War 2 event.
Nice.
And so it's nice to have. He talked a bit about that on a previous podcast, just how he's lucky enough to do, and he couldn't tell much about the story, but you're seeing from the first couple issues that the Inhumans are going to factor into this in a big way.
Nice.
Particularly one Inhuman. So we're not going to go into real deep spoilers here. We're going to probably do a big review on Civil War 2 as well.
For sure.
But there was one big death that I want to quickly talk about. So I'm going to say spoilers. If you haven't read it or you're not reading it or whatever, jump ahead like 2 minutes. We're just going to briefly discuss the death of a character here. And the character that died, surprising to me, because I knew it was teased.
Yeah.
I saw on some of the different websites that there was in fact a death, and people have been very good about keeping this kind of in the bottle, which is nice. So I was kind of behind about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And reading it through, I was quite shocked that they killed off Rhodey.
Yeah. Wow. And did they ever kill him off?
Yes, and it was really cool how they did it, because the free comic book day actually mattered into this story.
Yeah.
Because it tells more or less the story without directly saying that Rhodey's dead on how he dies, and it's Thanos that kills him.
Yeah.
And I was quite shocked that they actually went down this path with such a prominent character, especially a character that's featured not quite heavily, but at least is present in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which is really nice to see them kind of, again, saying, the movie universe is their own thing. We're going to take some influences. We're going to take the parts of the movie that people like as far as appearances and maybe some characters and have, that overall synergy. But at the same time, they're not afraid to kill off characters.
No.
Do you think this is going to be one of these permanent things, or do you think by the end we're going to kind of have this roll back on itself?
I don't see them coming out of this one. I think he's done.
Yeah.
I think War Machine's bit it, and if we do see him, it's not going to be for like a while. It's not going to be like a year, him missing like they did with the Human Torch or Spider-Man, or I guess Wolverine's still dead. But I think we've seen the last of him for quite some time, I think, in this one.
I have to agree with you there, because at first I was like, this is going to be something that they're going to flip around on, but the significance of it, particularly for
Tony Stark.
Yeah, exactly. And it basically igniting the Civil War, if you will.
Yeah, I love the build-up, right?
Yeah.
They had... Are we going to spoilers in this one?
Yeah, we'll go.
Oh, yeah, we're going to spoilers. They had the party, which is a little reminiscent of, Age of Ultron going on. And I'm like, well, these guys are all so cool, and they're having such a good time. Everyone's loving each other off. And then, behind closed curtains, Medusa, I think it's Medusa that takes them in. And you kind of start seeing everyone's, stands and where they lie with things and what's going on with this whole Inhuman of his power, right? And you can see everything's divided, but it actually seems like everyone's against Tony. It seems like it's really just Tony in one corner, and then the rest of the other Marvel universe is against him.
Which is interesting, because it's a very different position than you would expect Tony to be in.
Yeah.
And this particular Inhuman's powers is he can see the future,
Yeah.
or maybe a better way to say it is he can see the future that hasn't been influenced So if the future were to play out without him saying anything, that's what it would be.
Right.
But then he's not exactly seeing the future because it changes every time, right? He sees into it. So there was that Celestial or whatever that he saw, and then the Inhumans brought together all the Avengers.
Oh, that's a great panel too. Wow.
And so they changed the future. So he's not actually he's seeing an outcome, as Tony refers to.
Right.
And that's what he doesn't like, is the fact that he's not actually seeing the final outcome. He's seeing one of a numerous or infinite possibilities. And so that's what the side that Tony takes, which is different than you'd expect.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'm really liking it, because at first I'm thinking I'm going to be on Captain Marvel's side because I'm a huge fan. But now I'm like, I might be with Tony on this one.
She's like very much this militaristic, I'm here to save the world and I'll do it at any cost. Yeah. Which is an interesting take on the character and something that we haven't seen from her, because she's in the Ultimates. Yeah. She's also the leader of A-Force, which is protecting from like celestial or cosmic threats. Right. And so it's really neat to see her thrust into the forefront of this event and taking a real leadership position, because that's something that she's done quite a bit since I really started reading Avengers quite heavily in the last couple of years. She's been really brought to the forefront when she took on the Captain Marvel mantle. Yes. And with the movie coming up, it seems right time to put her in the limelight and get her into the forefront of the comic readership.
Definitely.
Speaking of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, segue.
Yes. Yeah, look at that. I'm getting real good at those. Now I've just gone and screwed it up. Anyways, Brie Larson is being rumored to be in final talks to be Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Yeah, Marvel's favorite so far, it looks like they're trying to say.
What do you think of that? Do you think that's the right way to go? An Oscar winner?
Oscar winner. You know what? To be honest, though, I don't know much about her. I've heard nothing but great things about her in The Room, which is cool. I mean, I have no pull at Marvel at all, but one of my top picks was Emily Blunt.
Yes, I do like her.
I really like Emily Blunt. I don't know the age they're going for, but Charlize Theron as well. I think she's really strong and dynamic. But, Marvel hasn't failed us with their casting. No. Right? So if they see potential in her and she's at the forefront, then by all means, go ahead and do it.
Oh, I agree. And this seems like a character that they've been trying to cast for a long time.
Right, yeah.
And there's rumors that she was going to show up potentially at the end of Avengers 1. Because Joss Whedon really likes the character. And there's rumors she might show up in Age of Ultron.
I never heard that one. Yeah.
And now we're starting to get some finalized details, because the movie's coming up here. My thoughts on Brie Larson is, again, I've never seen Ruma for nothing but good things of her. Yeah. But the movie I do know her from is 21 Jump Street. So I'm having a hard time seeing her as anything other than a teenager in high school. Yeah. So when I picture Carol Danvers, I picture a decorated military person.
Yeah, established and everything.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So I picture someone that's probably in her mid-30s. Exactly. When I look at Carol Danvers. But I'm happy for Marvel and their, the writers to take a different direction here and go someone a bit younger. I don't even know how old she is, but she in The Room, I guess she plays a mother. So she does, going from 21 Jump Street to what I see her when we did our Oscar episode, seeing her in some of the previews for The Room and that. She does look a bit older, so she does fit that. And there's some pretty cool fan art out there.
I've seen,
that has her with like kind of the full Captain Marvel costume.
Yeah, like the Marvel Now Captain Marvel suit. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they go that direction with the suit as well. But yeah, it's kind of neat that that we're starting to get these casting rumors, and I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in a movie prior to her actual standalone.
I would think so, similar to like the Black Panther kind of.
Exactly, because her first movie falls in between Avengers: Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. Right. So you'd think maybe she shows up in Part 1 or something like that. I don't know. I think it'd be a good way, and I really like this idea of introducing characters before and then just jumping head on into their movies.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll see. I'm still hoping for Emily Blunt. She can do action going off of Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, she's incredible in that movie. But it is what it is. We'll see.
It is what it is. Exactly. Also, you brought this to my attention. Namor back at Marvel.
I love this news. Yeah,
this is something that just dropped today. Yeah, Monday. When we're recording here. And it's really cool to see that they've gotten the rights back. So this comes back from Universal, I believe.
Right, yeah.
And they've never done anything with Namor. No. He is an Aquaman-like character. Yeah. What would DC do if Marvel squeaked in some sort of Namor appearance right before Aquaman comes out?
They'd reboot the whole DC cinematic line.
Because that is a way to approach this, is let's get our guy out first, even if it's just in a cameo.
Oh, yeah.
And just establishes him as the king of Atlantis, as the man from the water, or whatever, right? Man. And kind of I know we forgot that single minute, whatever it was, 10-second appearance of Aquaman in Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess DC's gotten there first. Yeah. but maybe the first one to talk out of water or establish some sort of underwater scene or something like that. So it's nice to have a character like that, someone that goes way back to like the first Marvel to timely comics,
the first mutant,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, so I can't wait. He's a real badass. This guy, what he's done in recent comics and even going further back, Invader, right? So there's so much they can do with this character. I just can't wait to see.
Speaking of the recent stuff, the stuff they've done with Black Panther and Namor, and having the Atlanteans battle the Wakandans, and everything streaming out of AVX, what happened in that, with the destruction of a lot of Wakanda, and these guys butting heads right up until the start of Secret War.
Right, it's probably some of the best stuff we had for the aftermath of AVX, I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Feud, Battle of the Kings. These guys are incredible. So, casting, now it's cool. Let the speculation begin for casting for this character, right?
And when he's going to drop into the cinematic universe. Is this something that they've known been coming? Or is it something that was just dropped on them? They got a letter one day delivered by a man and said, here's Namor.
Character's up. Here you go. Yeah.
Hopefully, they get the Silver Surfer and Galactus not too far behind there.
Then we're set, really. You don't need anything else. Doctor Doom, Galactus,
Yeah. I've made a promise to not talk poorly about Batman v Superman.
I was going to bring this up, actually. Here you go again.
So, I'm going to break that promise because we got a trailer drop for the extended cut, promising more violence, a rated R rating.
Yeah.
And to fix everything.
A coherent story. I
don't buy that for a second. I'm sorry, DC fans. I don't. What did you think of this trailer?
You know what? Well, the trailer wasn't anything like the first trailer that we saw for this movie, because obviously we know what happens. So, but basically, it felt like it's clarifying a lot of things. It felt like glue, putting everything back together and sticking all the pieces where they need to be. They made sense already. Just watching this trailer of that African scene, because I was lost. Like, when did Superman do any of this damage? And just that one scene they show in that trailer of that guy, I think it's meant to be KG Beast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see him take out an enemy, and it's like, okay, well, he was the guy behind it. So just watching that trailer, I'm more like, okay, that's already a plot hole right there that's fixed in the movie.
But why wasn't this? I know that it's a timing thing. You don't want to have people intimidated by a 3-hour movie in the theater for your theatrical release.
Yeah.
But why not take out other stuff like Lois Lane or stuff that didn't hinge the story? That's an important point. It's 2 seconds, and right there from a trailer, you've now established yourself, better understood what was going on in the desert.
Exactly.
I just don't get why they cut stuff like this, and why they're jamming it back in now.
Is it going to theaters? Was that trailer for? Was that for the Blu-ray?
That was for the Blu-ray. So that drops in a couple of weeks, sometime mid-June, June 19th, I think.
Wow.
And that's 3 months, 3.5, whatever it was, 4 months from the release. That's quick.
That's fast.
And I don't know if this thing was rushed out to try to get ahead of some of the negativity before Justice League, before the next movie, before Wonder Woman, to try to bring some of the fandom and calm everyone down a bit. I don't know. Is this something that I'm going to go and sit and watch for 3 hours? My time isn't that valuable because I went and sat and watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be that harsh already. But
the real question is, are you going to get the Steelbook?
Yeah. So, are they releasing the theatrical cut?
I'm sure they must be.
Hopefully, this is like a big box set sort of thing where you get this. Here's the I'm sorry Steelbook.
No kidding.
Here's the 3-hour cut.
3-hour cut for you.
We're gonna fix a lot of stuff. To me, this. I'm happy to sit and watch it. I suggested to Sanjay, actually, I said, why don't we do a commentary over this?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And he kind of said, I really don't want to sit and have you piss all over this for 3 hours. And I said, that's probably a good decision. Maybe we'll do a commentary. Because we were looking to do a commentary. And if you guys get any suggestions, fire them our way. Because we're looking to do a commentary on a couple movies here. And we're struggling a bit with what direction we go. We go with something a bit more lighthearted to start with. Or we go with something that we're actually critically going to review and look at from... I don't know which way to actually go. And this this might be a bit funnier from my perspective, but from a serious DC fan like Sanjay, who absolutely loved this movie, it might be a bit difficult of a pill to swallow. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we do with that. And if we, and does it warrant a whole other episode, a whole other review? Maybe we'll talk at length a bit about it maybe later on in the year when we have a bit of a lull outside of maybe the summer season here, and just go into a bit more detail when we're a bit ready to revisit this.
Absolutely.
And maybe bleeding into maybe like a Wonder Woman or something like that, and kind of trying to reestablish ourselves within the DC cinematic universe and trying to understand kind of the shortfalls that come with cutting a movie down from its intended length.
Right.
And what are the implications are cutting out key scenes, as you call them, glue scenes, that help hold together plot details. That was one of the biggest things that we picked apart here, was that some of it just made no sense.
Yeah.
And having some of that picked up might be a nice thing. I don't know.
Definitely. I gotta say, I'm really excited, and just even talk about now. I'm kind of rooting for this movie to like be well. Could you imagine if this movie surprises everyone? It's just this awesome, phenomenal Blu-ray that was better than the theatrical release. I mean,
I think
highly unlikely.
I will give it this. I think maybe, I don't know, I'll go back and forth like this. If I look at my notes, I'm here like, there's no way this is going to make this any better. It's just going to be the same movie with more scenes in it.
Right.
Probably more talking scenes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any more fighting, so making it more violent just requires them to put CGI blood on things.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a couple extra characters. Whether they add anything to the story, probably not. Yeah. But at the same time, if there's little things like that, and it makes me feel a bit better just hearing you talk about that scene. I didn't really put any of it together. I didn't really pay much attention to the trailer, but that there's scenes in there that make fans and people that were looking for something more are starting to connect things just from the trailer. Gives me a little hope that this thing maybe will produce a much more cohesive story at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
I'm happy to revisit it, just not tomorrow.
For sure. Hopefully it's a success. So X-Men take notes. Maybe they can do the next one themselves, because I wasn't pleased with that.
Or whatever, the Jubilee cut. I don't know.
Jubilee cut, yeah, exactly.
But one thing, the film cinematographer, Larry Fong, did say, basically, I'm going to paraphrase here, I don't know exactly what he said on Twitter there, but he basically said that if you didn't like it, you're not going to like it anymore. And if you loved it, you're going to love it a little more.
Wow.
So that doesn't really give me much
hope.
That's
not really reassuring.
I don't know. What can you do? What can you do? So staying with the DC Cinematic Universe, the Justice League title. We're talking about this using this mnemonic Part 1, Part 2. And Avengers seems to be stepping away from that a bit.
Yeah.
And Justice League now is stepping away from that a bit. So there were some rumor titles. There was Justice League United. There's Justice League Angels and Demons. Justice League Gods Among Us.
Oh.
Justice League Gods Among Men.
Whoa.
So those were 4 titles that were rumored. No idea where that came from. Someone could have just made it up on the internet and put it out there.
Wow.
And
Gods Among Us, eh?
People are freaking out.
Well, because that's right from the video game.
Exactly.
That's a hell of a title then. Because if they go that path, that's people are going to blow their mind. For sure.
Don't want to burst your bubble there. But Jeff Johns took to Twitter and squished these rumors almost as quickly as they came out. And he announced the official title of Justice League. Wait for it.
Oh, yeah.
Justice League. I should laugh. It's simple and straightforward.
Yeah. You know what? The title wouldn't have bothered me if they didn't make it so well known that they're making it to 2 parts. And when you hear 2 parts, you think of 2 separate titles or 2 titles. So now hearing that it says Justice League, again, it goes back to my basic complaint with DC. They keep backpedaling on their word. They give you one source of information and then they come back and critique it again, right?
Yeah.
I just wish they had this Kevin Feige vision where this is what they're going to do and they're going to stick to it and they're going to execute. But I feel like they constantly keep backpedaling and trying to fix their steps, right? So
yeah, well, the thing with the Part 1, Part 2 thing is that it inherently implies, like other movies have done, that this is a seamless timeline between 2 movies.
Right.
Taking away a Part 1 and a Part 2, it kind of confuses things a bit, I think.
Yes.
And if you leave the movie and then you pick up the next movie right where that one left off, without a Part 1 or Part 2, people going in and being like, well, I didn't really see Avengers 1, but I can go and see Avengers 2, which I don't think is the best way to see that, because it is a bit confusing in itself.
Definitely.
But if you don't have that Part 1, Part 2, that mnemonic that, say, a Harry Potter used or a Hunger Games used, that it gets a bit confusing. But to be fair, both of Avengers was doing this as well. They're playing around with their titles and that. Yeah. But these are the first movies to do something like that, where you do have standalone movies set in the same continuity, in the same universe in between. That's right. And the question is do those movies pick up on the threads left by a Part 1 and continue that? Or are these set before, or are these your origin movies? Because Avengers has Ant-Man and the Wasp, as well as Captain Marvel, in between the 2 big Avengers 3 and 4, if you want to call them that. And Justice League has Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam in between those movies. So leaving off a Part 1 Justice League and having 3 movies and then your Justice League Part 2, surely the characters, particularly Aquaman and Flash, are going to be in Justice League. They're going to be left at a certain point at the end of Justice League they have to pick that up in their movies, or are they going back an origin story of this? Because that's going to get really confusing as far as your timeline. And so that's different than what they have with Hunger Games or Harry Potter, where there's no in-continuity, in-universe movies stuck in between them.
Exactly.
And so that's a big thing that's a bit different, and that may be why they're shying a bit away from this part 1, part 2.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, they want to call it Justice League 2, or whatever.
Rise of the Ponies.
Yeah. Gods among men.
Yeah.
We really want to stress that Superman is a god.
Yeah.
Speaking a bit about Flash, you were talking a bit before the podcast here, and there's a new director.
Yes. Is this the one from Dope?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You know what? And I haven't seen Dope, but I heard it's a really cool movie, so I gotta check that out. But I'm all up for it.
Yeah, and we're seeing a big diversity among directors within the DC Cinematic Universe, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to see, and this might be them shying away a bit from the Zack Snyder verse.
Yes.
So this tonally different kind of universe feel,
Yeah.
and getting different directors to come in and put their own spin on things. We have Patty Jenkins in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
We got Justin Lin for Aquaman,
Yeah.
and we now got this director from Dope.
Yeah.
So this nice diversity that we're starting to see. Ben Affleck for the solo movies.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool to see that they're kind of expanding and embracing this diversity amongst filmmakers instead of trying to having one man make the same film over and over again.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a good call. So that's interesting. I'm glad for DC for making that move, and I can't wait to see where they go with that. When do we see the Flash land again? 2018?
I think maybe.
It is 2018.
I can't remember. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Justice League is the first part is 2018. I think the
Yeah.
same time as Avengers Infinity War Part 1 comes out, and then Flash is sometime in there as well.
Right.
So one other thing that was announced relating back to the DC TV universe.
Yes.
So we mentioned that Supergirl had moved from its current station, which is CBS, to CW for this fall.
Yep.
And so that puts it in line with the rest of the DC TV universe shows, Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm assuming in some form or another they're going to integrate all 4 of those now.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, and we got news that Superman is going to be making an appearance in Supergirl.
Yeah.
In one of the first of the 2 episodes, I believe, of the new season.
That's right.
So that's pretty exciting. And there's been fan petition for Tom Welling.
Yeah, from Smallville. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Wouldn't that be something? People would freak out
That'd
about
be pretty
that.
cool. That'd be pretty cool. For everybody that's like so involved in the universe, it'd be kind of funny if they actually took Brandon Routh's character and like the Earth 2 Brandon Routh is actually like Superman.
Yeah. Oh, that would be kind of cool.
But yeah, that's cool. I really liked Tom Williams' character or portrayal of Superman / Clark Kent in Smallville. So it'd be pretty neat to see him come in there. But CW does a pretty good or pretty interesting take where they take previous characters that have played other roles and kind of have them come in as a new role and just mentor that character. So in Smallville, you had Christopher Reeves kind of mentor Tom Williams at some point in his Superman career. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing in this and had a mentor Supergirl in some way. So we'll see. Either way, this is cool. We get Superman in the CW live TV series, and like you said, maybe Batman next.
Yeah, they just got to drop the gloves here and just be like, okay, we're going for it. We're doing full DC TV universe. Movies is one thing. It's been made very clear that they're 2 separate universes.
Definitely.
You know, you could do like or what do you call it?
Earth 2 or 3
exactly. But just let's throw Batman in there.
For sure.
Like, let's just cancel Gotham and bring a Batman series to the forefront. And just, I don't even know how you do it. The suit's hard to do, I guess, maybe for the amount of money, but the Arrow stuff looks pretty good. You could do an early Batman series where he's in his early 20s and he's just in some weird armor, not full bat suited up or anything like that. But just embrace it and bring it in.
I'd love to see that.
I would watch that. I would sit down. I'd have to watch some of the stuff, and I know you have a great affinity for Arrow and that universe that they've built. Why not throw in some of the big characters? And produce like a Justice League TV
it'd be so
and do
cool.
like this huge crossover. Stephen Amell, he's talking about this big crossover event between all 4 shows and a 4-night crossover. Like, how sick would that be?
So cool. And it's been a constant tease, and going off Stephen Amell in Arrow, we've heard them talk about Bloodhaven, which is Dick Grayson Nightwing's like town that he defends. And then this season of The Flash, we saw an Earth 2 Barry, and on his phone dial it said Bruce, Clark, and Diana. which is, the big three.
No
so
way.
you're just like, come on, just give us these characters, right?
Well, it's time to do it.
It is. It definitely is.
And I think that they can. They should just... They probably won't, because it would be confusing for people when a Wonder Woman and a Batman are showing them the TV universe. But at the same time, you got Superman showing up.
That's for sure.
Let's just do it.
That's for sure.
They might wait till after a Wonder Woman movie drops and there's some interest around, exploring Wonder Woman and different characteristics and different character development, what you can do in a TV series as opposed to a movie.
Right.
And I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. My only worry is actually going off of this is that Grant Gustin is such a brilliant Flash on the TV series that is it Edris Miller playing the Flash?
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. He has big shoes to fill, basically going into this movie universe. So we'll see what happens.
Speaking about big shoes, man, I'm getting good at this.
That's awesome.
Before he is Shazam,
Yeah.
The Rock will be Doc Savage.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Doc Savage?
I don't know a thing about Doc Savage, so yeah, not a thing. I think they say he's like the first Superman in a way.
Stan Lee did credit him with kind of leading the charge into modern, or at least modern in the sense of the introduction of Superman, Batman, the Avengers, Iron Man, stuff like that. I did a little Googling.
Cool.
Didn't really... There's a lot there.
Yeah.
And I guess he comes from pulp magazines of the 30s and 40s.
Wow.
And he's supposed to be this, specimen of a man.
Wow.
Brilliant. That's exactly what I see in The Rock.
I was just going to say, The Rock's playing himself.
Exactly. So apparently he's this charismatic man. They call him the Bronze Man because he's got this glow to him.
Cool.
Looks like he's been stuck in a tanning bed forever.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock's got a little more of that naturally, but as far as I'm concerned, if The Rock's there, I'm there.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he's jumping into the superhero world prior to Shazam.
Right.
And I thought they would really try to bring Shazam in early, being, kind of leveraging off The Rock's popularity right now. This man's going to be popular forever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's super hot right now. And this guy does everything.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they plot this out. You're playing with concepts that, without modernizing them, which they will do, it's going to be difficult to translate something like that, adhering to the source material from something that's quite old.
Yeah.
There's some updates in the 60s and that from what I was reading, but again, this is a very, very old character, and you have to bring him to modern day. So I think that they're really going to have to really kind of be quite liberal with the source material.
Right. So it's not going to be like a period piece or anything set in that time.
I don't think so. I think with The Rock especially, he's a very modern character, if you will.
Right.
And I think they need to do this present day. And when I first read it, I was like, I've never heard of that DC character.
So is he a DC character, this guy, or is he?
I don't really know. I think
sure.
that there's been books published both at DC and Marvel. I may be wrong there.
Yeah.
And I think this character's floated around a bit throughout the last 80 years or whatever.
Wow.
I don't know where. It might just be like an independent, like someone owns the rights.
Oh, so we don't know what studio greenlit this or anything?
I think it's Sony because it is the guy that directed Iron Man 3, Shane Black, that's doing this.
Oh.
So I think it's one of the subsidiaries of Sony that had greenlit it.
Oh, okay. And I think he just did, Shane Black just did The Nice Guys, which I want to see, actually.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting. So we can maybe see a Spider-Man, Aunt May, Doc Savage mashup go on
big
here eventually.
crossover event. So Shane Black, he's a good director. I like what he did with Iron Man 3. Some of the stuff in there wasn't fantastic. He has a unique, at least, feel to his movies. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was great.
Yes,
with Robert Downey Jr. But so I'm excited to see Shane Black teaming up with The Rock and producing something that's I think is going to be but has the potential at least.
But
also has the potential to flop hard.
I like that team up there.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows.
So
love that video game. Oh wait, we're talking about the movie.
The movie dropped this past weekend here in North America. To the tune of $35 million at the box office. Wow. 3-day total. So comparing this to the 2014 opening of $65 million for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, the reboot. So it's about $30 million shy of what its predecessor did.
Wow. That's not good.
No, not good for someone that looks like they want to franchise build this. And it's taken a bit of a beating, both critically and from some fans. I have to say, it's a kid's movie. It definitely is. It's geared towards, like I mentioned to you before, the kids and the 90s fanboys that love the cartoons. Not even the comics, but the cartoons of the Ninja Turtles. So this is another sequel as part of a growing list of sequels in 2016 that has flopped relative to its predecessor.
Yeah.
So at X-Men Apocalypse talk last week, Alistair Looking Glass, which was a hard bomb.
Yeah.
Neighbors 2 didn't do nearly as well.
It didn't do that well, no.
And so we're seeing this trend. And, this isn't something new.
Yeah.
That the second entry isn't great. We saw this with the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
It came out in 1990.
Yeah.
91, we saw the sequel drop. And it paled in comparison to the original one in the 90s, which I still hold quite high. And I revisited not too long ago.
Oh,
and
the Ooze?
Yeah, not Secret of the... I've watched both of them, actually.
Okay, yeah.
So the original 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and then Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, yeah.
Secret of the Ooze is not great.
Yeah.
But the original is still really good. It holds up.
Yeah. I love them both. I love them both. And the thing is that what those movies have that this doesn't is fight scenes.
Exactly. And, that's one thing going into these movies. And I think people from, we're looking purely at sequels. People are demanding better movies from sequels than we're actually getting.
Yeah.
And with this kind of rapid franchise building that we're seeing in kind of the wake of Star Wars, Jurassic World, the MCU, even the DC Cinematic Universe, like people are taking cues from this and trying to pump out their own universes, their own franchises relatively quickly.
Right.
And again, this isn't some new concept that people have stumbled upon, that Disney has stumbled upon. This has been going on forever.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the rate that these are coming out.
Yeah.
And the quality, I don't think, is there.
No.
That we've seen from, say, A Force Awakens or even a Jurassic World.
Right.
There's 10-year hiatus in between those entries in those films. So people had a bit of time to breathe.
Yeah.
And again, they were coming off the back of movies that weren't the most well-received amongst the franchise itself in Jurassic Park 3, as well as Revenge of the Sith, or the whole prequel thing, if you want to talk that.
Yeah.
So one thing that you can really see here is that fans are demanding better movies.
Yeah.
And you look at something like Cap, like that trilogy, which got better and better as the movies went, is a modern day example of how to one-up yourself essentially as you go.
Yeah.
And that involves a lot more characters, and they do have the ability within the comic book universe to pull on things like Iron Man and Vision and Black Panther and Winter Soldier into these movies to elevate them. I think that's a bit what they're trying to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which fully embrace not so much the comic book, but like you said, the 90s cartoon and just say, here it is.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Flat out cartoony, right? They're giving you Bebop, Rocksteady, Crane, this brain that just shows up. There's no explanation behind that whatsoever. And Tyler Perry's character, I forgot his name.
Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, the professor, who is just so Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey crazy,
Yeah, it is crazy. That's right. One of the things that I've talked about on here, and I've advocated for to some degree, is this methodology of going in and watching movies by turning your brain off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to backtrack on myself a bit there. I do not think I have the capacity to do that anymore. and the reason being is I think I need a little bit of substance and a little bit of story there now. And I thought I could go into this, and maybe it's because I went last night, Sunday night, for a 10 o'clock showing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a bit reluctant to go. I was like, we really want to talk about this a bit.
Yeah.
And this probably would have been something that I just watched on Netflix or rented. But at the same time, removing that and looking at it, there's not a lot there for me to hang my hat on. And I was a huge Turtle fan growing up. I had all the action figures. I love the 90s cartoon series.
The Technodrome.
The Technodrome was amazing. Man. I never had that. I always wanted it.
I love that thing. I still have it.
What?
Yeah. My parents' basement. Yeah.
Oh, you lucky man.
I don't live in my parents' basement. I still have my parents' basement.
I'm really happy you clarified that. Brilliant. I had all the action figures. Yeah. I had the turtle van that shot their pizzas.
Not the manholes. Yeah, that's great.
It was fantastic, and I love that. And I think 6-year-old me would have freaked out about this movie coming off of the back of the cartoon.
Right, definitely.
I don't... Having sat there for whatever it was, hour and a half, 2 hours, I was squirming a bit towards the end. I was like, I kind of really want this to end. I want to get out of here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I particularly enjoyed the movie for maybe what I would have as a younger child.
Right.
And I thought going in that I was like, I'm not really expecting much here, so maybe I'll enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And it didn't really get there for me. And I think it was a lack of substance, and I'm not saying this movie needs like this twisty plot, or it needs to have real in-depth character development or anything like that. It just needs to have a little something
for sure, like a little bit of that Lego movie, Shrek kind of humor or something. To
or
keep
even
the adults,
or even some like satirical elements of it and recognize within the movie itself that how silly this is.
Exactly.
And that this is a bit crazy, and then we are adapting something that is totally out of this world. It's a cartoon from the 90s that at times makes no sense, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But just acknowledge that within the movie a bit, because you had some characters in there that were very serious, and then you have some really wild characters, and then you kind of have the turtles that sit in between.
Right.
So we're doing this at the tail end of a news segment, because we didn't really think it needed a full hour and a half review, and this isn't something that needs to be picked apart.
No.
Particularly by viewers like us, because this isn't meant for us, as we've said. And so I think we'll just go through here and touch on a few aspects. Some of the stuff we liked, and we're not going to particularly sit here and just knock this thing to pieces, because you can spend all day picking out the plot holes and all this thing. And the fact that, realistically, this is a Transformers movie with turtles in it.
Yeah.
You could
and Transformers.
Bumblebee cameo.
Yeah.
You could put those two movies together, and you could not see where one stops and the other one picks up.
Right.
From the score right down to the product placement.
Yes, to the very end battle scene. I was like, oh my god, it's Transformers 3.
You just cross these over. Let's do a Sony 21, 23 jumpsuit, or whatever it is. Men in Black crossover. Let's cross over Transformers and Turtles. Pump it out. I'd probably go and watch that.
For sure. Throw in the G.I. Joes even if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what did you think of the CGI of the Turtles this go around?
Yeah, you know what? Let's put it this way. The CGI for these mutants worked a lot better than the last mutants I just saw for X-Men. So, I really loved the CGI in this. I thought the Turtles looked great.
They looked fantastic.
They really looked cool. Even going off the trailers, I loved how they looked. Bebop and Rocksteady looked a little lesser. That's nitpicking, know. But I loved how the Turtles looked. I loved all the effects in this movie.
And it was great. They toned it down a bit from its predecessor, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2014.
Yeah.
They're smaller.
Yes.
And they have less shit all over them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they don't have, like, the puka shell necklaces and all the other crap. There's still a lot of stuff on them.
Yeah.
I found them still a bit busy. And because when you compare them to the original from the 90s, they were very simple costumes. And they're just foam costumes with, like, animatronic heads and that.
Exactly.
But I kind of like that aspect of it, that they're a kind of more humanoid size. And yes, they've scaled them down. Mikey and Donnie are kind of almost human size now. Raph's a bit bigger.
Yeah, he's pretty huge.
And they call him the muscle. They do that opening sequence when they're like, I'm going to explain everything. I'm going to give you explicit dialogue here detailing, what our different powers are and what the colors are and what our names are. And fine, okay. I can buy into that. I couldn't tell where the CGI stopped and the practical picked up.
Right.
And they could have done this whole thing without humans.
Yeah, they really could have. Yeah.
And because having April O'Neil, Megan Fox, she's fine.
Yeah.
Bit objectified at the start of the movie.
Yeah, I'd say.
Bit different. I don't know, that stank of Michael Bay.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit. It's this weird kind of Scarlett Johansson thing where I'm like, where did she get this? Not Scarlett Johansson, but Scarlet Witch. No, Black Widow. Where, I don't know where she developed these skills to just kind of, infiltrate this guy and then go and, transform her clothes the way she did. It just wasn't very April O'Neil.
No, and it's less of a reporter and more of, a private eye sort of thing that she's doing, which is fine. Yeah. Sure, I don't know.
I mean, it works, I guess, for...
And it's, I guess you introduced Baxter Stockman there or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And the man, Tyler Perry, did you ever jump into that role?
Right?
Some crazy scientist man?
Yeah.
I don't know. He eventually becomes some fly dude.
Yeah, I remember in the games I used to beat him up in the first level.
That's exactly it. This first action piece that they had, where we get the introduction of Stephen Amell's extremely whiny and brutal Casey Jones.
Yeah, how did they mess up Casey Jones like that?
Like what? Okay, I've never watched much of Arrow.
Yeah.
Is Stephen Amell like that? Does he talk like that?
No, Stephen Amell is awesome. I find Stephen Amell just gets better and better in that show. He's like the Batman, the closest thing we have to a Batman on live television right now. And the Casey Jones, I don't know if it's the writing or just the wrong fit. But it just didn't work. I don't know if it's his lines or him himself, but it wasn't working for me at all. Especially seeing the Casey Jones we had in the 90s film.
That guy was awesome.
He was brilliant. The first introduction between him and Raph fighting just took me away, right? Even in the latest or the last one, the animated movie they did.
TMNT.
TMNT. Casey Jones was awesome in that.
Yeah.
And then
he's voiced by Chris Evans in that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, yeah, and here it's such a different take. He was an officer that liked hockey.
I felt like he was reading from cue cards the entire time, or off his hand. Like he was just delivering these so flat.
Yeah.
And some of the lines were just like, it sounded like a 20-year-old kid. Someday I'm going to be a detective.
Yeah.
He did have one line that struck me.
Oh, yeah?
It was, all he said was, and I'm going to paraphrase this, is just go with it. And I kind of thought there, I don't know if this is me taking this completely out of context, or if this is the filmmaker speaking to us and saying, just go with this movie. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
But he shows up at this first scene, and we see the Shredder, who comes back from, different actor, but who comes back from the first movie, the first of this rebooted series. Mm-hmm. And he's this notorious villain now, who was barely in the original, or the first one.
Yeah.
They stage a prison break, the Foot Clan, for him, aided by Baxter Stockman.
Yes.
This whole portal thing. Sure.
Yeah. The dimensions. I mean, the Turtles have always been big into dimensions and all that, but it was...
Dimension X.
Dimension X sounds about right.
Dimension
Z?
That's Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Not Baron Zemo. That's...
Cap. The
the
run that you don't like.
Yeah. Anyways, it's followed up by a really cool scene with the turtle truck.
Yeah,
I really like
turtle
that.
van or truck or whatever. Yeah,
because it really reminded me of the pizza shooter.
Oh yeah. You can put your figure in the chair and that's cool.
But again, it's one of these things. It was a really cool scene, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
but there's just the guys doing the CGI just must be mental, because there's so much shit in that dump truck. It's everywhere.
There's so much stuff.
There's even like an orange crushed vending machine at the back when Raph kind of pops out of the back there.
Yeah.
And they're just, I don't know. It was kind of cool that they're hurling these manhole covers, which would annihilate human beings.
Total fan service, though, right? This movie, it has the figures down, like the turtle van, like you mentioned, the Technodrome. There's just stuff I'm watching. Like, I had that toy. I had that toy. So it's pretty cool. All of it, right?
And do you find this movie, when you're watching, do you find it really hitting at your nostalgia?
Oh my god, just playing on those strings. Yeah, definitely.
And I felt, unlike other movies, this didn't affect me as much, but I was doing the same thing. Like, oh man, I remember that turtle van. That was sweet.
Right.
I remember having Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh yeah.
And I remember them in the cartoon as well.
Yes. Just boneheads.
Yeah. And really picked that up here. I think a little bit too much.
Too much. Like, you know what? I used to say my man quite a bit of times. And I can never say that now after watching this movie.
My man.
They tore that line to pieces.
They certainly did it. These guys were goofball. One's a wrestler, and the other guy I've never really seen much of. Yeah. And, they're kind of funny at the start. Like, you're just, idiots, right?
Yeah.
And they really, really play that up. And even, the fart jokes, and constantly beating each other up.
Always.
And just, brothers. And,
yeah. Do I look fat to you?
Yeah.
My man?
Yeah. My man. But their voices were good. I thought it kind of really hit on the 90s cartoon.
They did.
It really made me wonder what in Secret of the Ooze from 91, what those characters, I think originally they must have been planned to be in that movie, as opposed to whatever we got there with the kind of baby turtle.
And the turtle.
Wolf.
Yeah, because that totally should have been Bebop and Rocksteady.
I think it was maybe in part due to, because that movie was toned way back. So the original from 1990, which is excellent, was really dark.
Yes.
And it really hit the tone of the comic book of the time.
Yeah.
So that comic book was quite dark when it first came out. And they actually, I think in the first issue, actually killed Shredder.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
So they're very violent.
Yeah.
And I think that didn't sit really well with, because at the time you're talking a lot about, what are the ratings? You're getting a darker Batman, which actually didn't turn out to be that dark relative to things we have now. No, yeah. And you're starting to see other types of movies come in. And I don't think parents were really in favor of this.
Right.
There's a really good documentary somewhere.
There is. I've seen on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Turtle Power.
Yeah,
something it's called.
Watch that because it's really cool because it chronicles all of that from the initiation and the first comic books and how they were kind of really small and they ended up in this massive print run of comics because it was so popular. Huge. It goes into the movie and into the cartoon and into the figures and how all that came out. And kind of almost that's coming right out of the Star Wars merchandising era, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the next things to actually pick up and go with this and have almost merchandising drive characters.
Oh, yeah. Drove me.
Yeah. Drove all of us. Mm-hmm. So you see in Secret of the Ooze, they actually don't ever use their weapons. They don't hit people. Yeah. They kind of punch them a bit. And Mikey uses the sausage nunchucks.
Yeah.
And the swords are used. He throws them in the ceiling.
Right. And Raph does the the Daredevil where he throws his sai at the light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he never uses them again.
Right.
So you don't see them use their weapons. And that's a lot of what you see in this movie too. So I don't know why they've paralleled these in embracing the cartoon. And you mentioned this, they don't actually ever fight anyone. There's no really cool Foot Clan Ninja Turtle fight scene, which was in the 90s one. That was one of my favorite parts where you had... There was the April O'Neil House fight that was awesome, so good. And like I'm talking, like I watched this like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's still awesome.
It's so cool.
And then the fight at the end that spills from the sewers out onto the streets, and then you get right up into the Shredder fight. I love that, and I thought it was so cool because they had Casey Jones in there.
Yes.
And we didn't have that big battle going on because I wanted more of that because the Foot Clan soldiers look they're pretty armored up.
Yeah.
And they look kind of dumb, but they didn't really do anything. They fought him a little bit.
Yeah.
But nothing. I wanted this, like, because to me the Foot Clan is, you get hundreds of soldiers.
Yes.
And maybe because they're rebuilding or whatever, I'm not looking to make excuses for this movie at all because I don't think it's asking for excuses to be made for it. But there was no big fight, and I wanted that. I was waiting for that the whole time, for them to be surrounded by like 50, 80 soldiers and then have to plow their way through it.
Right.
So maybe that doesn't really work in this universe because these guys are like massive creatures.
That's true.
Incredibly strong and bulletproof.
Yeah,
from the first one,
yeah, especially some of those fight scenes from the, even going off of Secret of the Ooze?
Yeah.
Where Raph and the one new character introduced in that movie go toe-to-toe with the Foot Clan, and Raph gets
what's his name? I know.
You know what I'm talking about, the karate guy, but Raph gets worked. But he's fighting these guys for quite some time. It's really cool, and you're just invested in those scenes, whereas here, after a while, you kind of took it for granted, with all the action race scenes.
These guys are invincible compared to what you saw in the original version where they could get beat up.
Oh, yeah.
And you never feel like these guys can get hurt in any of these movies. Even fighting Bebop and Rocksteady, where they don't really ever fight them. And they never really did. They always kind of just brawled. And you remember the video game was pretty cool where you're fighting them too?
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was a good one. I can't remember what it's called. Was it called Out of the Shadows?
There was Turtles in Time, and then there was Turtles 2... I can't remember, but I know there's Turtles in Time.
Because it was like a side-scroller player.
Yeah. Beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love those. Yeah.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Definitely.
And then, like you said, we get the main villain, who, we get Shredder in there kind of in the background, but Krang comes out of almost nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It's part of Ninja Turtles lore.
Yeah, you just turned your crane off.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing that introduction, it does, like you said, it tugs a bit on the nostalgia. Mm-hmm. But for anyone just going into this expecting, I'm going to maybe revisit Ninja Turtles and then having just this brain attached to this robot, and which looks great.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know that we interviewed John Jang. He's a concept artist, and he kind of alluded to the fact that he had some input into some of these characters. Redesigning the Turtles was one of the things that he did. And he's one of the guys that we interviewed again at the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo. And he kind of made inference that he couldn't really talk about it, but he had some hand in designing Krang as well.
Oh, interesting.
And at least in some part. And I thought it looked good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It looked like it was, basically cut and pasted and updated from the cartoon, right?
It really did. Like right out of the cartoon.
Yeah. What is he trying to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I don't know what any of them are really trying to do except get this dimension going on.
It's almost like this real kind of video game sort of movie. It's like Krang says to Shredder at this point, he says, you need to do this, this, and this. It's here, here, and here, and you need to use this, to do that, and then I'll show up at the end. And it's like you get your big bat at the end, your big boss at the end, and these are the tasks you have to complete to go through each level, and then you fight, Bebop and Rocksteady are kind of like I'm not a big video game guy, so if my metaphors in that aren't making any sense, that's why. But I just got this it was kind of this point and click sort of thing, like you were doing this, we're going to lay the whole movie out from you.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do this, this, I don't even know what to say that.
Yeah. Just keep going to the right side of the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep running on the right. Yeah. So Krang and his Technodrome.
Yeah.
You've got, which I want
to
see.
I got the Technodrome going down.
You have to pull it out. You have to pull it out.
For sure.
But it was kind of, again, one of these things that was all over the screen.
Yeah.
I felt this is where the CGI fell apart a bit.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very well done at the start and through the Turtles. And you can see that's where they put their money into. Like you said, Bebop and Rocksteady, you could see that they didn't put the effort into them as much. But this Technodrome stuff was just kind of like gray and black and white colors. There wasn't much going on.
Yeah, and it wasn't underground, was it? I think it was
No,
above.
It was above. Yeah, it was floating.
It was above,
so,
yeah.
Was the Technodrome in the cartoon?
Yeah, it's always underground because they used to have this other toy had the driller thing.
You have that too?
I don't anymore. No, I don't. I mean, maybe. I don't know where it is, but yeah. So I think it was always underground, but here it seems like it's like a ship almost.
Yeah,
it's
a Death Star looking sort of.
Yeah, that's right. Right, Star Killer.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah, I don't really have anything to really nitpick about with that one.
There's not much you can say about this movie. That's why we're not doing a proper review.
Yeah, but you know what really stood out to me is the Turtles. I really like that they got more focused this time around, whereas I felt last movie they didn't. I love the chemistry. I love like the brothers have that chemistry going on amongst them. That bond. And I really, because I'm a Raphael guy. That's always been my man.
Me too.
Right? Yeah. So it's really cool to see the dynamic between him and Leo, because they always have that rivalry going on.
Yeah.
And I think they nailed it. I actually liked Leo a lot in this movie too.
He was in the last movie. I think he was voiced by Johnny Knoxville.
Yes, it wasn't him this time.
I don't think so. No, he sounded a bit more like a leader in this.
He did, didn't he? I really liked his tone.
A bit more stoic, and he had kind of this prowess about him.
He was pretty cool, and he wasn't so Boy Scouty.
Yeah,
right. I really liked Leonardo in this. So yeah, I love the Turtles in this movie. I'm glad they got to have more of a shine. I didn't like the whole aspect of this humanizing them, like literally trying to become humans. That was weird.
I was really worried that they're going to be like, it's just a chance to give the actors that are sitting in the ping pong ball suits or whatever with the dots on their face an opportunity to not get into that every day and kind of be like, hey, I'm an actual actor.
Yeah. I was really hoping they didn't do it. I kind of had flashes of going back to Casper.
Yeah.
When they made Casper a human boy. It's like, please don't do that with these turtles. But other than that, I think that's my strongest point is the turtles. Not Shredder. Yeah, that's one of my negatives. Shredder didn't wear his helmet at all.
He did for a little bit.
For a little bit, right?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, but so, like, you go back to the 90s, he never takes it off.
He never takes it off, right? So
for that one moment where you're like, oh my god. Like,
right, yeah. So, I wish Shredder kind of had the helmet on the whole time.
He's not really that villain, though, in this movie. He's supposed to be like this quintessential Ninja Turtles villain, like the ultimate big bad, and he was really nothing more than kind of like a henchman for Krang.
He really was,
and he seemed to be having his own plot in the background, but he seemed to be more willing to instead being the guy that's turning on Krang to be the guy that gets turned on, which is something I don't feel like Shredder would let happen to him.
No,
kind of like the Shredder that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I mean, the Shredder going back to the '90s film was just a boss.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So going back to the Turtles, I agree. That is one of the best parts here. Yeah. I really like Michelangelo, too. Yeah. Because some of his jokes were hit and miss. Yeah. And he kind of still plays his surfer dude sort of thing. Sure. Yeah. But I really like that. He brought a lot of lightness to the movie. And this juxtaposition of all the different characters, I really, really worked for me.
For sure.
And having, Donnie, the super tech geek or whatever.
Always.
Genius and again, it's funny that they explained all this at the start, but I really like Mikey. I thought he was a real good presence, and similar to the '90s films, he's the kind of that lighthearted presence where Ralph is your brooding
rebel,
lone wolf. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I thought they really nailed the characterization really well.
They did. It felt a little closer to the TMNT movie cartoon actually, because they nailed those guys in that one as well. Not much light shined on Splinter. Really,
no, he kind of took a background to all this, which is fine.
Yeah.
The character Tony Shalhoub, I think, voices him, which is a good pull, I think. Yeah. And he didn't have as much as he did in the first to do. I'd just say the weakest point for me is Casey Jones.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I was expecting a lot out of Stephen Amell.
He was my selling point on this movie. When I heard he was cast as Casey Jones, I was like, awesome. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's the actor or the lines they gave him, but it fell pretty flat. At the end of the day, it sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. The airplane scene.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one?
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
It was a neat scene going from plane to plane.
Yeah.
And, they kind of... Again, if you really start to break this movie down and be like, how did they get on the cargo plane? How did they get on the other cargo plane? How did they do this? Why didn't the pilots report that there's these giant things hammering off the front of their windshield? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was a cool scene to see.
I thought so.
Skydiving was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And seeing them kind of, interact there as well as more this whole team dynamic again.
Definitely.
Was pretty cool. And when they get into the water and what is it, Bebop or Rocksteady in the tank comes flying out and it's just like this ridiculous... I don't know. It's fine. A lot of these scenes, looking at this, I don't remember the cartoon vividly enough to pinpoint exact scenes if they'd taken certain things out.
Yeah.
But a lot of this looks like a serialized TV show.
Definitely.
You could take snippets of this as a whole total arc
and
split this into a TV show and it would be fantastic.
Definitely.
For kids.
Yeah, definitely. And I think kids must have, I know even myself enjoyed just the parade scene where Mikey
Oh yeah,
goes up, and he sees the Transformer. And I thought that was pretty cool, pretty funny.
That was a nice nod to itself.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I like that. So,
and then they had the last fight scene, which was very, very similar to the last fight scene from the first.
That's what I thought.
Same thing. Exactly. Just fighting a big robot.
Yeah, on top of
yeah. So again, it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I've said that a lot.
Was there an after credit scene for this movie?
No. So I was sitting there. I Googled it while I was sitting there. I was like, is there an after credit scene? There's no stinger, so I guess not. I don't know. I didn't really look after it in any sort of detail. Basically, kind of just, again, tease. Krang will be back. They've frozen Shredder. Bebop and Rocksteady. It was made very clear that they're both alive. Yeah. And so that just seems like if this movie can squeeze in enough money internationally, maybe, because I don't think it's going to have a very long run here domestically. No. Will we get a sequel to this? I guess that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, going off of the first one. They must have been pretty confident in that one, because before the first one was even theatrically released, they already announced that they're going to do a part 2. Whereas here, they've been pretty quiet about a part 3. So
yeah, I don't know how much this cost to make. It couldn't have been cheap.
It could have. No, because the special effects were, top notch.
Yeah, pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So we usually give movies rankings after we've done kind of a thorough review here. Yeah. I don't really know how to do this. Because the problem I'm having right here, when you put a number on something, you have to think back to the other movies that you've given a number to. Yeah. I'm thinking back, me particularly, to Batman v Superman, which I give a 5 out of 10 ranking. Yeah. And can I, in good conscience, give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows a better ranking than I did Batman v Superman? So I've kind of painted myself into a bit of a corner here with doing numbers, and maybe that's something that we could look at down the road into maybe changing up a bit, because it's hard when you're looking at a relative sense. Right. You look at certain movies and you put more into like a Batman vs Superman than you would going into, say, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, right? Mm-hmm. Sitting here, I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's sure 5 out of 10. Yeah. But can that line up with the Batman v Superman? Yeah. Probably not. No. So I find it hard doing numbers, and it's going to be hard going forward, kind of balancing that out, because you don't ever want to say, I give whatever Star Wars a 7 out of 10, which I probably never will do, but then give some other movie like this, sure, it's a 6 out of 10. Yeah. And so you got to be careful there. So I'm gonna have to give this like a 3.5 out of 10. If I'm talking a relative scale here, I can't do much more than that. So I'd like to give this. If I had seen this before Batman v Superman, I probably would have given this a 5. Yeah. Let's see, maybe I was a bit harsh on Batman v Superman, and maybe that should have been up maybe a notch ish. Yeah. So I'm gonna sit on a 3.5 or 3.5 out of 10. 3.5 out of 10 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I would say it's a rent or watch on Netflix. I wouldn't particularly say go and drop the money. Like, if you really want to see this movie excel and support maybe a third entry into this, go check it out in theaters, because that's what you're going to need to do. Mm-hmm. Other than that, check it out on home video, or that's me really showing my age instead of check it out on VHS. Yeah, VHS. But or Netflix, whatever.
I can't remember what I gave Batman v Superman. I don't think it was anything higher than 6, that's for sure. I don't think so. And I saw the movie twice. But this movie, you know what? I liked it more than the first one. And listening to this review, you probably think I don't really like this movie. But I thought it was actually kind of fun for what it was. And, it's definitely geared towards the kids, or like I said before, the fanboys of the early 90s cartoons. But for me, I think I give it about a 5.5. I thought it was an okay movie if you turn off your brain and go in there. I mean, if you can. It's getting kind of hard to do these days. I tried doing it with X-Men and it didn't work out so well, but I pulled it off for this one, so I'll give it a 5.5. The special effects really did it for me. They were good. I really love the conglomerate of the turtles. Yeah, I guess it's not much, but the action scenes were just incredible for me. So yeah, I'll give this about a 5.5 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Nice. I have to bring up one more dumb thing. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm such a dick when it comes to movie reviews. But and this is the only time I actually really rolled my eyes, other than a few of the lines that Stephen Amell spit out. It was the explanation when they converted Bebop and Rocksteady from humans to a rhino and a warthog, that every human has a spirit animal or some ingrained animal of their past in them. I was like, you've got to be friggin' kidding me.
Right? Horrible.
I get past a lot of things, and maybe not from the sound of this, maybe I can't, but that was the dumbest thing. Because I think in the cartoon, was it the last animal you touched or
I
something.
can't remember. I don't know if they even just had animals right beside them and hooked them up to it.
Something simple like, we had some rhino and warthog DNA in the lab and it fell on them or something. I don't know. But to go to that length to actually write a line that says something so dumb.
That's lazy and just stupid, right?
But to swing this around and end on a positive note, yes, I agree. This was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Don't go in expecting anything more than almost an adaptation of the 1990s cartoon.
Exactly.
If you love that, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
The toys are out in full force at Walmart, which kind of really disappoints me because I'm like, why aren't the Civil War toys out? These like 10 deep of Bebop and Rocksteady and all the Turtles and all this.
That's a good point.
And I would really like to see the legends showing up, and even the Star Wars figures in that too don't show up with the same consistency that this movie seems to get figures out. Even the last go around, this is when Target existed in Canada. Yeah. There's all kinds of Turtle stuff.
Wow, yeah, there's a whole huge section of the Turtle stuff actually. Now that I think about it. Last thing, do you have a ranking of where you fit this in the other movies? Do you have that you could come off at the top of your head?
Interesting. Okay, let's rattle something off here. So I'm going to go with the 1990s original is by far my number one.
Nice.
Let's see, TMNT, the cartoon or whatever, the CGI one, number 2.
Cool.
I'm going to say Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more nostalgia there kicking in. Number 3. I'm going to have to say, I don't know if it's a toss-up between the 2014 and this one. Let's just say, for sake, I'm going to put in this one ahead of the 2014 one, maybe.
Cool.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. And then Ninja Turtles 3, the one where they're like out of time or whatever.
Yeah.
I could not get into that.
No, a lot of action figures for that one, but is a terrible.
So that's kind of my rough rank. I think there's 6 of them. I think that was 6.
Yeah, I think there is 6.
How about you?
Real quick here, I guess I'll go Secret of the Ooze. I love Secret of the Ooze, so I'll go with that, number 1. No, I'll go number 1. I'll go the 89 or the 90s one.
Yeah, the 90s
so
one.
The first one will be number 1. Secret of the Ooze will be number 2. I'll put TMT number 3. I'll put this one number 4. And 2014 number 5. And part 3, the Samurai Quest for a Good Movie, whatever it's called, number 6.
Using a lamp to transport time or whatever it was.
Yeah, those poor samurais.
Casey Jones did come back in that.
Yeah.
So and he did show up in like the ancient past Japanese.
Yeah, what was up with that?
So silly. I don't know. Anyways, good fun to be had at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadow. So what are we doing the next couple of weeks? So we've got...
Yeah, we got a lot going on, don't we? We're getting hit with plenty of good comics going on. Do you know when the next Civil War 2?
It's either, I think, next week, but there's all your tie-in issues that we got going on in here too. So you Iron Man, Captain America,
I'm sure
all
Avengers probably
too. This week actually drops, there's some tie-in books. There's a Gods book that drops. The Spider-Man book, Civil War book drops this week as well.
Awesome.
And there's a couple other tie-ins. So there's a couple standalone series that are going on, as well as the tie-ins to the ongoing series as well.
Cool.
So I think in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a DC Rebirth review. As well, maybe we can sneak in a bit more Civil War stuff.
Absolutely.
Civil War 2 as well. We're going to have Sanjay coming back here at some point.
Yeah.
Next week, we may or may not do a Star Wars-centric episode.
Yeah.
We like to throw those in every so often. There are the Star Wars fan films that are up for voting right now on StarWars.com. So every year, Star Wars gives out awards to fan films. So it's really nice seeing them encourage creativity within their own branded rights, which is pretty cool. I've watched about half of them, and there's some really well done stuff.
Cool.
25, they're about 5 minutes a piece, so it's a bit of a time commitment. I've been watching them over the last week or so. So you can vote for them up until June 19th. Cool. So we might talk a bit about those next week prior to the voting, and maybe we can pick kind of our top 3 or whatever. But they're really good, some of them. Like the computer graphics that go into them, fantastic. Some of the stories are great, picking up on some threads from The Force Awakens, some threads from the original trilogy.
That's cool.
And it's really neat as to what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
And then, as always, there's lots of Star Wars collecting. Troy was able to grab me an awesome piece here in Canada.
It's nice.
It's the Rey Starkiller Base exclusive.
Yeah,
it's a Kmart exclusive, actually.
Right.
And Troy did find it up here, and he snagged it for me. I have to thank him very much for that.
No worries.
So there's all sorts of Star Wars stuff that we can talk about. And then we have Independence Day Resurgence movie coming up that we're going to do a bit of a review on.
Nice.
We're throwing on the idea of doing a commentary.
Yeah.
So we got lots going on this summer, going in, particularly into a bit of vacation season. So lots going on for us.
Absolutely.
So
it's going to be another good summer for comics because I think last year we had the cool Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And do we also have Origin of Original Sin? Was that also the same year?
Yeah, that was kind of the start of it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then we also had Convergence last year
going on, and Future's End, which was whatever. But the extra is looking strong. You know, we got Rebirth all over, and then we got the big Civil War event going on, which I just can't wait to dive into. So whether you're a DC or a Marvel fanboy, go out there and pick up your comics, because this is looking like a good summer.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Exactly. You guys can always hit us up at #EnterTheNerdRoom if you'd like to comment on anything. If you want to talk a bit about comics, we're always kind of hanging out on and off Twitter with some of the guys here in the Calgary area, and we'd love to have your input into the show. You can find us on Twitter. Our handles are at the end of the episode. And Sanjay, we're looking forward to having you back on the Nerd Room.
Yeah, I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. All right, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure talking comics and movies.
Oh, yeah.
For the Nerd Room, I am Tim.
I'm Troy.
And thank you for entering the Nerd Room. #Sanjay lives. All right, guys. We are out. Don't forget to subscribe and rate and review us on iTunes. You can find our hosts Tim, Sanjay, and Troy on Twitter at TheNerdRM, 1912 Podcasting, and Troy, TheBoy87.